welcome to Demon Interviews episode 147. I'm your host, Springy, and joining us today is a very special guest.
Hello, I'm Ashely.
So welcome. I've been looking like 3 different positions. To the show. First question is, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. It's the weekend, off my normal job.
Yeah. That's always super fun. Always super great. Have you ever been interviewed like this before?
Not really, not that I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, we're happy to introduce you to the world of interviewing. Put in an infographic. I never do that, so there won't be one. So next up is, well, people can assume by past guests and stuff, and by the thumbnail that is here-ish, you are a cosplayer. Do you have any other new cosplays planned to do that you're able to tell us about without me giving you a small fee of $5?
Cosplays for the future, I definitely have some planned out as the dates for next RTX, Rooster Teeth Expo, have been announced. So I definitely plan to bring a couple new ones to there, some that are already in the designing process, and at least one that I've had under my belt for a couple years to try and attempt.
Ooh, awesome. I know I'm excited to see that, so that's going to be awesome. Next up is, would you rather eat Cheetos or go on a hike?
I would rather go on a hike. I grew up in a rural town, so going and walking out in the woods was how I grew up, so I love it.
Yeah, completely understandable. That I live in that same type of area. So next up is going to be what is the hardest thing about getting into one of your cosplays?
The hardest thing about getting into one of my cosplays, definitely when wearing it, anytime that I've done any kind of armor, which I usually make out of EVA foam, it's always a pain to get it on. I know definitely in the thumbnail, we have my Common Rider Wizard Ozpin, and the chest plate with the pauldrons on it, that took a good hot minute to get on when I wore it to RTX. I had to very carefully slip it over my head because everything was already glued together. And then getting the armor pieces to stay on my legs because they were just velcroed on, so there was no backing to them. Those were definitely harder to get on and to stay on.
That makes a lot of sense. Like I've had leg parts where they moved and they're a whole thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Usually when I construct armor, I try to keep in mind mobility aspects so that you have to be able to move your arms, especially since usually I'm solo, so I've never really had what some other cosplayers have where they have a handler as someone who carries their bags and stuff. So I always have to keep it in mind of, okay, we have to carry our bags, we have to make sure we have our wallet, we have to be able to move properly in this.
Yeah, completely understandable. Like I know I have a few like in both sections of hard to move in. I'm staring at it, and easier. Uh, so now I have to say the stereotypical. What is going on with me today? Now I have to say the stereotypical YouTube thing of don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. If you have any questions for our lovely guest over here, don't forget to put them in the comment section below. And if we ever get them back on the show, then we'll ask them your appropriate questions. And if you want to follow them on all the social media platforms, there will be a way to get to all of them in the description below. There, I said it. There we go. Okay. So you said before that you have gone to at least a convention before. How many have you gone to, or if these are how many different ones have you gone to?
I have gone to several different ones because I've been going to conventions and cosplaying since 2015. So it's kind of been easy to lose count in that time, and especially now with the pandemic where cons became kind of wonky if you could go to one or not. But because of where I live and because of how my life has been, usually I stayed to conventions that were more local to me. So more Indianapolis conventions. I've gone to a couple in Chicago, like ASEN and C2E2. RTX down in Austin, Texas is probably the farthest I've gone for a convention.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I mean, as people can see, you're a fan of Ruby, so I mean, that's
Yes.
probably one of the great places to go. So I mean, um, so I'm trying to think if I should jump around or not. So just to get this out in the universe, some people might recognize you or from the recent um, Rooster Teeth Expo cosplay contest. Is there anything that you want to say about that or your experiences with the online cosplay competition circuit? That's the word I'll use. Go ahead. That works.
So this experience with the cosplay contest online, it was definitely a bit of a nice surprise because I didn't initially have any plans to enter the contest because their deadline for submitting was at least like only a week or two after they put the announcement out. And I was thinking, I don't have any new cosplays. But then I realized, well, actually, I still have photos of my Kamen Rider Wizard Ozpin cosplay from the last in-person RTX. So that was the most recent. It has nice photos. So I decided to just submit it on a whim and just see how it would go. And I got the email one day that I was a finalist in one of the categories, which was a really pleasant surprise. And the fact that I got runner up in my category was such a cool experience.
That is really awesome. I mean, like, congratulations on doing that alone. I mean, that's amazing. I have to say.
Thank you. It was it was really cool. And it was a fun part of it was seeing Kamen Rider fans in the chat of that stream getting excited to see a Kamen Rider cosplay. And one of the announcers sounded very interested in what Kamen Rider was. So it's like that always makes me feel good to see others that really enjoy my cosplay or just get that good feeling from it.
Oh yeah. I bet if they said because I think I was in the middle of recording this ironically when they heard posting the winners and stuff in the live stream, and I bet I once somebody piqued interest. I bet like somebody was like, "Oh, what is that?" I bet the chat just went like nuts with paragraphs because that's the type of comment people I know of. Um, anywho, so because like you brought up, their conventions were slim to none in 2020. Um, well, this is kind of a question we kind of developed because of that. What is your favorite convention memory?
Oh my goodness, that is a hard one. I have so many convention memories, but I think probably my favorite memory from a convention is definitely from RTX. Um, so it was the week of the con, and I actually did get to go and visit Stage 5 for a short little tour. So I got to see all the work in. So it was like the day before the convention, but it was still during that time. So that's probably one of my most favorite memories of it.
Awesome. Next up is because cons are opening back up, and by the time this comes out, it'll be late September, early October, somewhere in there. Uh, is there any cons you're hoping to attend to safely in the safe future?
Definitely. As I mentioned earlier, RTX 2022 already has dates, and I am definitely planning to go to that. Me and my family, we have pushed our tickets for the past 2 years to roll them over.
Hmm.
Um, as of right now, for any other conventions, I have been looking a little bit at Colossal Con. That's in November. That is if I can get the time off from work to go to it and borrow the funding. So those are at least two that I am looking at.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, don't forget to hopefully, go to those cons and check out this lovely person. And I assume it's okay if people say hi, right? I
Oh,
assume.
absolutely.
Wanted to make sure before I said so.
Oh,
But
absolutely. I love meeting people at conventions. I love it.
awesome. Well, now next up is going to be coming from a past guest, a Mr. Zoom underscore 2028. This is a very long, very complicated question. Um, bacon question mark.
Yes, bacon. Bacon's always good. We always have bacon Sundays here at this house.
Hey, hey, that's just tomorrow as of this recording.
Exactly.
Ah man. Next up, coming from the same past guest, an even longer, more complicated question. Peanut butter question mark.
Yes, peanut butter, always good.
Awesome.
Specifically, I like crunchy peanut butter.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Well, and then we're done. We're gonna delete it. No. Nah. Um. Next question is kind of when we cooked up in a little cooking pot. Uh. Uh. Bacon and peanut butter question mark.
I don't think those two flavors go well together with me at the same time.
Yeah, completely understandable. I know, because we asked this question for freaking since episode 100. I actually recorded myself eating it. Not that bad. Just mainly tasted like bacon or peanut butter. I mean, either depends on how much you slather on. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. So next up is going to be you're going to be the star of a movie. Wait, this is going from a past guest, a Shannon Carruthers. I had to say that you're going to be the star of a movie. That's not the question. That's just part of it. Who would you want your co-star to be? It could be a friend or any actual famous person in the world. And what genre of movie would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Definitely genre. I would probably go with fantasy or adventure
Mm.
because I'm a sucker for those. As for a co-star, oh my gosh, there's so many people. Um, that is a really tough one. I don't know if I have a specific person that I can settle on because there's so many.
If you want me to just move on, that's completely up to you.
I'll just go with a friend, and I think if I had to start like co-star with a friend, I would definitely pick uh my friend Co, because me and him, we do a lot of like writing and character analysis and some RP together just for fun. So I know they would be a ton of fun to be in a movie with.
Ooh, that sounds awesome. And now, next up is going to be so again, people can assume because of the picture below, you are also a tokusatsu fan, or at least a comic writer. Um, what's your favorite comic season?
Oh my gosh, that is so easy, and I'll show you why. Ose.
Yes,
Absolutely
yes,
Ose, my favorite season. It hasn't been able to be topped for me yet.
yes. Finally, someone who agrees with me.
Yes, and I even sent you one picture that I cosplayed as Ankh once.
Yes, yes, that's amazing. I like just looking at my O's stuff. That's just like right here, and not this whole area. It's not. It's just like one area and one area, and I'm just. Oh man, I completely agree with you on that. Um, what season would you recommend somebody to start with?
To start with, well, I started with Wizard. Wizard was the first one that I ever watched, and that one got me hooked within the first couple minutes. I would say Ose is also a very good starter,
Mm-hmm.
just because of how it was written, but also Forze is very good as well.
Yeah. Good.
So out of those three, those ones is what I would pick to start with.
Awesome.
Get a taste.
Yeah, I completely understand that. That's Oh man, what was I? That's always a fun one. Um, ah, who is your favorite just writer in general from any season? It could be first, second, third. You know, sometimes there's an 18th one in the corner.
Let's see, favorite writers. So out of the main writers, obviously I love my boy Eiji. I always love him and just the how the armor for that season works is just I love the creativity behind that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could probably just sit here for an hour just nerding about that. Um,
Probably.
yeah, 100%. Like I could. Oh, oh, God. My horrible puns are coming out again. Uh, so the next question is going to be, what is okay? This is coming from a fan on Instagram. Hopefully, one of our fans. Hopefully, still a Charlie underscore Aronson 99. What is one thing you regret doing on camera?
One thing I regret doing on camera. Acting embarrassingly because there's definitely a lot of times when I was younger, probably just videos I recorded of myself where it's just the absolute that pre-teen or just young teenager cringe fest where it's like we're just having fun but then looking back on it it's like oh I'm so embarrassing.
Oh, I feel you there. Oh, I feel you there. Um, so next up is, who is your biggest cosplay inspiration or inspirations?
Ooh, let's see, cosplay inspiration. I love looking at Kamui cosplay. I always follow her page on Facebook and just the way that she constructs all of her cosplay, it looks so simple and it looks so amazing. Like she's obviously a professional and experienced, but she's definitely very inspiring with her work.
Oh yeah, 100%. Um, next up is, would you keep a pet zombie or would you kill it?
I'd probably get rid of it.
Mm.
I don't think that's a very good pet to have.
Oh, I completely understand that. I mean, you have to feed it, humans. You know, where you gonna find that in a zombie apocalypse? Next up is going to be coming from a past guest once again, a Harley F. Quinn. What are those?
Uh, Sneakers.
Awesome, awesome. So next up is, have you ever taken a cosplay suggestions, like you like a friend or a fan, like be like, you'd be great as this, and then you actually did it?
Oh, definitely. Because I always go to my friends for second opinions or any kind of suggestions for cosplays, especially because I try to get creative with my cosplays so that it feels like there is a touch of me in there so that it just kind of like stands out. So a lot of times I try to plan for crossover cosplays like this one here. And a lot of times when I was thinking about crossing over Ruby and Kamen Rider, I would go to my friends that were also Tokusatsu fans and be like, who do we think fits with this? I have these ones. What do you suggest? So definitely, I always take suggestions.
Awesome, awesome. Next up is going to be, what is the best compliment you've ever gotten, either online or in person?
Best compliment in terms of cosplay, um, definitely when I went to a convention as a Prologue Cinder from Volume 3 of Ruby, and it was the first cosplay of a dress that I had completely sewn together from scratch on my own. And I was standing at a cosplay table of a guest cosplayer. And when I told them, hey, this is the first time that I've ever completely sewn something from scratch, and they looked at it and they said, are you kidding me? That looks like it was done by a professional. So that's probably one of the highest compliments I've ever gotten.
That is awesome. Sorry if I keep saying just awesome and amazing. Those are the only two words I seem to know.
Oh, that's fine.
And I mean them each and every time. I'm not just like awesome, moving on. You know,
Yeah.
because I mean them. Just I only know two words. um. So, who is your favorite character to cosplay as?
Oh my gosh. I think probably the character that I've had the most fun cosplaying is Tyrion Kalos from Ruby. I don't
Ooh.
have many pictures of me cosplaying as him. I need to get some more because I want to redo him anyway. But for some reason, he's just been an absolute delight and so much fun to cosplay and play as.
Ooh. Ooh, that sounds awesome. I haven't heard of a lot of Tyrion cosplayers, so
Yeah,
that's
I think the
awesome.
last it was actually C2E2 in 2020, right before all the quarantine started. That was the last cosplay that I got to do before everything started. And I walked around that convention with a sailor's hat on in reference to the episode,
Hmm.
and as well as a water bottle that was labeled Crow's Tears, just to mess with people. Plenty of people kick out of that.
That's great. That I have to say, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've also been asked to do his maniacal laugh at least once for somebody, and it was so funny to do.
Awesome. Well, who would you like to do a collaboration with from social media in real life? Either like doing some sort of video thing, photo shoot, so on and so forth.
Gosh. I definitely know I want to do some kind of cosplay collaboration with my friend Shawnee. They also go by Radio Bandit because they do a lot of crossover cosplays as well. And we're actually kind of already in the talks of doing one for RTX 2022. So definitely I want to collab with them.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, next is going. I already said that one. I'm trying to make sure because I did skip around a little bit, so I'm trying to make sure I don't say the same one twice. What is the biggest misconception about you, or about the characters you cosplay as, or about your cosplays in general?
I think maybe a big misconception is that my cosplays are expensive because I try to make my cosplays look as high quality as possible because that's just me. I just want it to look good.
Hmm.
But also, I run by a philosophy, and because I've been forced to, because in all the time that I've been cosplaying, I've been in high school and college, and we have to budget, is that it's actually done with a lot of inexpensive materials and just extras. The jacket for my Common Rider Wizard Ozpin, that's like quality satin. It's lined, it has trim. And you'd think that's expensive, but I went to Joann Fabrics and I got all of that for $30 and put that together myself. So, and all the armor, any armor that I do for my cosplays is just craft foam and EVA foam that you
Hmm.
can get at like Hobby Lobby and Lowe's for like really cheap. So you don't need expensive materials to make cosplay. So even if mine looks as high quality as it is, I'm just using things that I find around my house and like the cheapest thing that I can find at the store so we can stay on a budget.
Oh, I use solo cups for like armor plating for Jean's gloves. I used solo cups on top of
Yeah.
winter gloves. Not fun to wear in the California heat, but
Yeah, I did one year a Kingdom Hearts Weiss cosplay, and the Keyblade that I designed, uh, it still had Mertinaster's little the cylinder that rotates. It didn't rotate on the thing, but it still had the cylinder. I used an empty can of breadcrumbs for that. So it's like you can use anything,
yeah,
anything that works.
exactly. Like I've used like I have like one big spool of string or like yarn. I've used that on cosplay to make my camera belts bigger so I can actually wear them. I've used like the same spool for like all of them. I still have plenty. Spool's probably not the right word, just the thing of yarn. Yeah. Again, find something and go for it. I mean, also, I'm planning on doing Grim Jean, and instead of having to paint my whole arms white or more white, I guess, um, I just got like these like fake sleeves,
Perfect.
and then since I'm going to be wearing a jacket, just thinking about that makes me warm. goes like up to here anyway, so it's like done. And I have like white gloves and everything, so I don't have to paint on my arms. All I have to do is like my neck and my head. Even that, just half my face because of a mask. That's bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. Saves money on paint and time because I knew somebody who did like the full paint and they said it took 3 hours and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way around that.
Yeah. Salute to those that do full body paint. You have my respect.
Oh, 100%, 100%. If I remember, there'll be a link to the video I had them do for 30 minutes, which I felt so bad for. But yeah. Um, I think that's all of them on my list, other than ones in my head because there's more obviously. Um, so yeah, that's all from the list. So I can stop looking far off to the side, unless I'm just losing my mind, which I mean is also very possible. So next up is, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns for me as an individual or about the show in general?
Uh, Not off the top of my head. I know I keep saying that
No, you're
today.
fine. No, you're completely fine. Don't worry about it. It's it's like I'm asking right now. I know I never give the questions out unless people ask. So, um, next up is going to be, would you ever like to come back to the show in the future?
Sure thing. Absolutely. I'd love to come back. This is pretty fun.
Awesome. We have 18 more things scheduled with you already, so I'll send you that. So next up is going to be, who would you like to see on the show in the future?
I'm gonna be biased, but absolutely, I would recommend my friend Shawnee, aka Radio Bandit, because they're a really cool cosplayer.
Awesome. Write it down. Um, Next, and the final question for today is going to be, do you have any questions for a future guest?
Hmm. I would say a question would be, what would be your two favorite things to cross over for a cosplay? Since I do a lot of crossover cosplays.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one, I have to say. Um, and I guess there's another one in my head now. If you had like unlimited funds and stuff, this is coming from a past guest again. It wasn't on the list because I forgot to write it down, but I remember who said it. From Cos Talk Live, we there on the episode a few days ago, and if you had unlimited funds and unlimited resources, unlimited talent, blah 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 blah, blah for whatever you need to accomplish this cosplay, who would you want to cosplay, or combination, or anything? What would you want to cosplay if you had unlimited everything?
Oh my gosh, unlimited everything.
Yes.
I think definitely I think I would pick Tajador from Kamen Rider Os just because it unlimited funds to get all like the actual functionality, get the big peacock wings that come out sometimes, the actual wings that come out of the armor. That'd be so good.
Yes. Yes. I agree with that 100%. Um, but now, thank you all for watching. Just to ran to the camera, because that's what every single person says to do. Uh, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Ashely, for being on the show. I highly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course. And thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Don't forget to follow them on all the social media platforms, which should be a way to get them in the description below. And at least I will see you in next video. Bye bye.